Laurie here from LR Design Studios, and I'm back with Basics in Sculpting, Part 2. In this part, we're going to be sculpting the ears on the baby head that we did in Part 1. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to comment, or you can find me at LR Design Studios on Facebook. I hope you enjoy this lesson. Come along. Now we're going to sculpt the ears. Let's get started. You're going to start with 2 small balls of clay about this size for this size head. I've made sure they were pretty even. I'm going to smooth out the head a little bit right now. Just working on the shape of the top of the head a little and the sides of the head. I'm still not really worried about the back of the head yet, as I will be adding more clay to the back of the head when I add the head on to the body armature after it is baked. But I'm going to work on the jawline and the sides of the face. I press down a little bit on the cheeks there too, and then just reshape that jaw. Basically, I'm trying to get myself ready for placement of the ears. I'm going to flatten this piece out and place it on the side of the head. The top of the ear should fall in line with the brow bone, and the bottom of the ear should fall in line where the lips meet. That's just a good spacing reference. I'm going to press this little piece of clay right here. Get it pretty close to where I want it. And then I'm going to use a rubber tip tool and just kind of blend the clay into the head, into the side of the face here. Just working it until the clay is attached, working it around to get the shape of the ear on top and underneath and in front here. Flattening it out a little bit as I go, except in the back where it's going to stick out and where I'm also going to have to start blending it in. I'm shaping the round part of the ear and blending the back of the ear into the back of the head now, or into the side of the head. Again, don't mind the back of the head there. So I'm going to continue blending this in and trying to get the clay all smoothed into the head. And then I'm going to take another tool. This tool is on the end of my needle tip tool. It has kind of a flat, spade sort of shape to it. I'm hoping you can tell what it looks like in my hand there. I'm going to lightly press in to the ear from the side, going around and creating that little fold of skin in front of the ear and starting to create the ear hole. We're just gently kind of pushing the clay in the direction that we want it to go when shaping the ear. Then I'm going to pull out a little bit to make the ear hole a little bit bigger and to create a bulge in the clay there. After that, I'm going to take the brush with a little bit of coconut oil on it and smooth it out and see where we are. Smooth out everything that we've done. Make sure that the clay is nice and connected where I did put the ear on, and smooth the inside of what we've already done to make sure that the shapes are nice and smooth and clean. Sometimes this can take a little while. Sometimes it's easier to do ears if you're looking at a picture of an ear. Every ear is different. Ears tend to run in families, the patterns that they have. It's actually quite funny how you can tell a family member by the shape of their ears. I'm focusing on making sure that it follows along the jaw where I need it to, that it's not getting too low. I tend to pull them down too low. But if you do, you can always push them back up. Now I'm going to take the ball stylist at the other end of this, and I'm going to start etching in the groove of the earlobe at the top and around the sides. very, very gently as to not shove the clay all around. We just slowly start etching it in. And I'm going to deepen the hole that goes into the ear a little bit and just etch it. Then I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to smooth all that out. I tend to make my ears stick out a little bit. I just tend to like sticky outy ears. I think my kids all had them, so it's something I tend to do. Just going to keep going through with the brush and the ball tip styler and shape the ears how I'd like them to be shaped. This is where they're just starting to take on some personality. You get the basic shape of the ear, and then everything from there is all about character and what you want the ear to look like after that. And again, using a picture to look at is not a bad idea. I'm going to go in with the ball stylist and I'm going to create a little indent here. And I'm just shaping the inside of the ear now. I'll shape the lobe, the upper part of the ear, and just continue until I've got the basic shape that I think I'm gonna like. I'm sorry, I'm covering it up here. Apologize. I was just getting involved with what I was doing. A little bit more coconut oil. And just keep smoothing and shaping. Be careful not to use too much coconut oil because the ears tend to get a little gummy because the clay is so thin in these areas. So you want to be really careful that it doesn't get too gummy. It'd be harder to smooth if it does. This is all just really fine detailing with the brush to smooth out any rough areas from the other tools. And to just move little bits of clay around to get the shape that you'd like it to be. I'm already thinking that this earlobe at the bottom is a little bit smaller than I want it to be, but I will know more once I get the other ear done, whether or not I want to make any changes to that. Okay, not too bad. I could keep working it forever, but I think it's probably time to move on to the next ear. Again, same thing, the small ball of clay. Oh, excuse me. I want to make sure that I put it in the same spot. So I'm going to draw a little line across here, but I should probably use my tool and not my nail because you're not all going to have long nails. So I'm going to use my needle tool and kind of run it across. I'm going to look at it from different directions and try to make sure that I have that line going across and evenly across the face or across the top of the head. I look at it in different angles and draw it on a few different times so that I can work my best to get the proper placement for the next ear. I'm going to flatten this little piece of clay out and stick it in the spot that I think is right. Make a few adjustments as I look at the other ear and see what I think. Start using the rubber tip tool and blending it in again. Blending it into the clay all the way around, keeping the shape of the ear while I do. Keeping in mind how you want the lobe shaped and where you want it to be while you're working the clay into the clay. And meanwhile, looking at the other ear and making sure that you're shaping it and positioning it very close to how the other one was, as close as you can do it. He's looking pretty cute. I like his sticky out ears already. Someone suggested that we name him Baby Bjorn, which I really liked. Anyone else have any suggestions for names for this little guy? You can leave it in the comments below. Also, if you would, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button. That really helps me out a lot, and it lets me know that you're appreciating what I'm doing. And if you could share the video with your friends or anybody who you thought might be interested in seeing my video, I would also greatly appreciate that very much. Thank you. So now we're just smoothing the ear and shaping it just like we did the other one, and also using the other one as a guide now. I can already see that the earlobe at the bottom is a little bit bigger than what the other, and I think I like it better. So we'll see if I'm going to add more to the other one or not at the end. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll take some off this one. We'll see. Again, taking that flat tool that's at the end of my needle tip tool and circling around and creating the inside of the ear. And then taking the brush and cleaning it up a little bit. Sorry you can't see this, I apologize. Okay, trying to remember to keep my hands out of the way. All right, now we're gonna take the ball stylist again and etch that ridge into the ear again and work on the inner ear a little bit more. All the way around, slowly etching, checking the other ear to make sure that I'm keeping the same shape, creating the same depth and placement that I did on the other ear as much as possible. Ears are very difficult to get exactly the same, but the more you work on it and the more you tinker with them, once you get them on, the closer you can get them. Then I'm using the brush to just smooth things out. And this ear went really quickly. I'm liking it already. I'm gonna bring this in a little. I like to taper the way that the ear shapes from the upper ear to the lower ear. Kind of push it in a little bit, give it a little character. And then as I rub behind it like this, I can get the ear to stick out a little bit more, which I like. I like those sticky outy ears. Working on that shape now, bringing this down and then up again to create the shape that I like, where it sticks out. I think I've kind of become rather known for my sticky outy ears. Not all my dolls have them, but most of them probably do. Some more than others, but most of them do. My first baby for sure, Crystal, had sticky outy ears. She was my little elf, and I just always thought she was just so adorable. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I tend to sculpt ears that way. Okay. Just refining with the brush. A little bit more coconut oil. Oh, getting my head in the way, darn it. Okay, yes, I think I am going to add a little bit more clay to the bottom of that ear. Just a second. I like the earlobe better on this one. It's got just a little bit more at the bottom, and I want to do that. You can keep your doll on the stick at that time, the whole time. I'm holding it in my hand, but you don't have to. If you're afraid of squishing it, you can put it on a little stick if you'd like we had when we were sculpting parts of the head or parts of the face. Okay, now to add a little bit of clay to this earlobe. I'm just going to pop a little piece of clay right here and then just work it with my tools to get it to blend in and to get it to the shape I'd like it to be. I'm just kind of pressing the clay in here with the harder end of the tool versus the brush because the clay was sliding around a little bit due to the coconut oil, and I really need to get it connected here so that I can get it into the shape I want it to. And then back with the brush. There's something in here. I think I have a piece of silicone stuck in my clay. Unfortunately, because I do so much silicone work also, it becomes one of those things that silicone kind of sticks to me and ends up everywhere. So it's in my clay here. I'm just going to pick this out and then fix that. Sorry, guys. It's a little pink piece of silicone. I don't know if you can tell, but it was probably on my needle tip tool. I think that I have a bunch of silicone covered on that from another job I was doing. Yeah, I'm just going to use this and dig that right on out and then replace the clay and work on that ear again. We don't panic, we just move on. And so I'm going to take another small piece of clay and I'm going to add it to where I just gouged it out, which is going to add a little more clay to the earlobe and to the side of the face there where it is missing clay from my little silicone disaster or intrusion. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can't see what I'm doing here. My head is in the way. And the focus is going out because it's focusing on my hair. Isn't that awesome? I'm sorry. Nope, there we go. Oh. I'm just blending in this piece of clay that I added. And just blending it and kind of reshaping parts of the face and everything. I need to get someone in here to watch me while I film so that while I'm paying attention to what I'm doing here, someone can say, your head's in the way. But because I'm trying to juggle the camera and the baby head and the sculpting tools, I tend to miss that. He's looking pretty cute. Now I'm just going to go in and make some little tweaks to try to get the ears to match as much as possible. And I think he's done. I'm going to work on the shape of his head a little bit more. Again, I'm just focusing on basically the top of the head and the sides. The back of the head I will add more on later. I mean, I'm not making it awful, terrible shape as far as the back of the head. It just will need more clay and to be evened out a little bit. But right now I'm just going to work on this forehead and the top of the head. Get him a better shape going on. Oh, I think he's a doll. Well, he will be a doll, but I think he's adorable like a doll. And now I'm just going to smooth it out with the coconut oil. And kind of work on all the shapes. Again, just to make sure that I have everything smoothed in nicely. All the shapes of the chin and the jawline are lining up with the ears the way they should. I will add more fat underneath his chin when I add his head to his neck on the body armature. And that will be also when I fix the back of the head and build that out a little bit more and shape it better. But that'll be after we bake this. I will be baking this head after the ears are done. So we will put our baby in the oven. I will actually do a small little video, very, very short video of how I prop the babies up to put them in the oven so that when we bake them, they do not get squished. But here you go. What do you think? I think it turned out pretty cute. Yeah. I was trying to figure out where the bright place was. Oh, I'm backwards with the camera. I think he's pretty sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you join us for the next video, which we will start building an armature.